Welcome everyone to Travel Subscriptions and the Price of Loyalty. Will they work? And let's meet our esteemed panelists. Kanika Soni, Chief Commercial Officer at Tripadvisor. Welcome. And Lennert de Jong, Chief Commercial Officer of citizenM.
Thanks, Lorraine.
So,
thank you, Lorraine, for having us.
Thank you. Subscriptions in general have been all the rage, right? Everything from restaurant subscriptions. I know I've joined one. Lennert, we talked about sneaker subscriptions. So what makes now a good time for the subscription model in travel? Kanika?
Sure, I'll take that one. Look, it's been an incredibly challenging year, I think, for the travel industry, and Tripadvisor is no exception to that rule. When I think about the last year, we've had to think internally very carefully about what we focus on and why, how do we prioritize our resources and investment. And to be honest, it's actually been a healthy process for our company. It's allowed us to really step back and take stock of what our brand truly stands for. How do we re-energize our company mission and then ensure that everything we do is in service of that mission and is in service of our travelers. There's also been a very interesting external dynamic at play right now as we're all seeing signs of recovery, especially in our domestic markets. I think it's an exciting time for travel companies to really embrace innovation, and Trip Plus for us is, which is our subscription model, is a perfect example of that. It's really allowing us to step back and think about how do we want to work with our partners, new ways that we can work with our partners and support them in their path to recovery, while also allowing us to actually connect with our consumers that are looking to travel again in a meaningful way, in a deeper way than we ever have in the past. And Lorraine, your question about, why subscriptions, why travel, why now? I actually look at it from a consumer lens and say consumers have already adapted their spending patterns and their behaviors. They've taken on to subscriptions as a business model that works for them, and that's particularly true for Gen Zs and millennials. We're seeing this play out in multiple industries, even industries where I think that original connection perhaps wasn't that obvious. Fashion and beauty are probably my two favorite examples. There's so many subscription platforms out there, and I don't think analysts could have predicted that a decade ago. So there's really, in my mind, no reason to believe that travel is not going to be just as successful at subscriptions as other industries have. In fact, it's one of the very few industries out there, remaining service industries, that doesn't have like a high value, affordable program operating at scale today. And we hope that Trip Plus is going to fit right in and actually help bridge that gap for us and the industry.
So Kanika, just really short, but so Trip Plus is not yet in Europe, right? It launched in the States. Can you just a brief overview of what you're offering? $99, and what do you get?
You nailed it. It is $99. It is our annual subscription with the explicit goal of helping our subscribers really up their travel experience. And that can take lots of different forms. As a member, you get access to insider perks and prices on hundreds of thousands of hotels around the globe. You get access to nearly 400,000 bookable savings and bookable experiences and savings on that. And also access to savings and elite benefits from our partners like Hertz. My personal favorite is the personalized travel advice that we're offering from Trip Insiders, who actually can leverage the power of our community to provide personalized recommendations to travelers, to tell them where to go, what to do when you get there, and then where to stay.
Great, thank you. So now, Lennert, you're coming from a very different place, because obviously Tripadvisor is a collection of brands. citizenM is one very unique brand. So what made citizenM think this was a good time to launch subscriptions? I know you tried a couple of different things. Some work better than others. Can you give us a brief overview?
Yeah, sure. And we're about to launch, I would say, a few more. But we've been working on subscriptions for quite some time. It's very complicated actually to walk away from a transactional environment to go into a more customer relationship environment, since the entire hospitality industry is a very transactional industry. It's all about reservations and property management and check-in and check-out, and It took us some time to get our systems ready, but we were thinking already about subscriptions a long time ago. And for us, subscriptions is an ultimate form of commitment. The moment that you buy Amazon Prime, you're committed to buy at Amazon, and you're not in market anymore for something else. And I've seen it throughout my own life. A subscription to a theme park, it means that part of my free time with my kids is now destined for that theme park that I would normally maybe only visit once every 2 years, and now I'm going there 3 times a year. And that's what Tripadvisor is doing. That's what citizenM is doing, because we are not just a general, brand where we try to, be something for everyone. We started citizenM for mobile citizens, for people that travel around the globe, and they're looking for something very specific. And for those people, we try to, become everything. So last year, when the pandemic hit, we said, okay, this is now a great time to do a proof of concept and fast track a couple of ideas for post-pandemic, right? We never became post-pandemic, but we thought in September, let's go and talk to our corporates about a corporate subscription. We saw companies that moved out of their offices or have employees that are now out of the offices, out of the cities, more remote. Well, how about a subscription to a hotel company where you can work, meet, sleep and play in one place? And we explored that, and we actually got more than we wanted. We spoke with more or less 400 corporates, and they were all interested. But they all said, well, we do need at least to travel a couple of times a month for business for us to be interested. And so that was more like a B2B proposition. We are about to test a B2C proposition with a closed group of people, because we want to see the impact of it against a control group. Because in the end, it's the most exciting bit, and I think this is where the main difference is between us as a brand versus a collection of brands. We are including the product in the subscription. And so for a amount per month, you can buy a key in the pocket in any city in the world where we offer citizenM for a fixed amount. And that is something we want to test. The perishableness of the inventory with flexible pricing. You don't want to kill the goose with a golden axe. But there's no goose with any golden axe at the moment, so there's no better.
Exactly. So do consumers, I've heard this question before, but do consumers travel enough to warrant a subscription? Or are they going to travel more because now they're like, well, I paid for it, so maybe I will take that 3rd trip this year?
The negative hypothesis of a demand manager or a revenue manager will be that, these people are only going to show up on a Tuesday and the most expensive night, and you've given the room away for less. My hypothesis is that we want to increase the customer lifetime value of a very committed audience, an audience that is coming every month. They're not just going to come for one night, they're going to consume multiple nights. They're probably also going to think about you when they travel for leisure to Paris or to London, rather than just their, let's say their average hotel from their points program on redemption. And that's what we're after. And for citizenM, it was also a matter of size. We've grown from 14 hotels pre-pandemic to 20 hotels now. And by the end of this year, we've opened 30 hotels. We're opening in Miami, Los Angeles, San Francisco. So we're in all the US cities as well now. So for us, the subscription is also an answer to the boring hotel loyalty programs that are out there at the moment without any commitment. You can get a membership of any OTA or big chain, and that's what we do.
Yeah, I want to get to that piece about loyalty, but Kanika, I need to put you on the spot. Of course, do people travel enough to make Trip Plus worthwhile?
Frequency and just is travel going to work given so let's call it limited frequency in travel, right? It's a question that comes up all the time. And I think our stance normally just is that subscriptions work today because they provide value to the consumer. And sometimes that value comes in the form of frequent use, but that's not always the case. When I look at subscription products out there, successful subscription products out there, they tend to do one of 3 things, right? There's the Netflix business model, which is all about exclusive content, unlimited access to that content. There is the Stitch Fix business model, which is focused more on curation. Hey, we know your fashion sense and we're going to send you a box of monthly goodies. Or there's the replenishment business model, which is the Dollar Shave Club example. Now, these are just examples, but I think Plus is very similar in that sense. And I think what we're trying to do is really build a compelling hybrid business model that is focused on access, so we can provide and leverage our scale to provide perks and discounts to our travelers. We can use all the information we have about our travelers to really provide a curated set of recommendations to our travelers. And yes, you're absolutely right that we've started in our first iteration really focusing on savings and delivering what we're calling the no-brainer moment to our travelers. How do we make sure that the value of the product that we're providing actually outweighs the cost of that subscription? But it's not the only way to do that. And when we look at the future evolution of Plus, we do want to own that entire traveler journey, whether that's hotels, flights, car rentals, or experiences. And we want to make sure that we're playing up the service angle so that our consumers actually feel like true VIPs when they're traveling, so we can elevate that experience for them. It's amazing. It would be amazing if when a traveler walks into a hotel and they check in, they get access to special perks, whether that's late check-in, early checkout, free room upgrades if they're available. You can skip the line. You get off a plane, you're going to go rent a car, you get to actually skip that car rental line. All of those are things that are going to elevate someone's travel experience. And when we do that, when we actually deliver that kind of value, I think that's how we will build loyalty, which kind of lacks in the travel industry. And that's, the point that Lennert was making a little bit about. I don't think it's so much about increasing the number of trips that someone's going to take, but it's about ensuring that when they do travel, they lean towards Trip Plus and give us an opportunity to elevate their experience, so we can in turn build that loyalty, build that engagement with that guest in the long term. And that's what we care the most about.
Right. And you can certainly keep adding product, like you mentioned, tours, activities, and all sorts of ancillaries. And is that something, Lennert, as well for hotels? I mean, do you see other hotels doing something similar and in terms of what you're doing at citizenM?
No, I haven't seen it yet, and I think it's hard to scale. If you look at the ownership in the hospitality industry, who's going to to pay, especially when the product is included? If you look at the brands versus the owners, it's very difficult to roll this out. I can guarantee you, if you look at the amount of finance, legal, and tax type of things, that you're doing business as a brand with a customer on a global level. And that is hard to replicate if you don't control all your parts of the customer journey. So I haven't really seen anything in the hospitality industry besides an Inspirato and then Tripadvisor, of course. But out of the hotel industry, I mean, if my friend has a shoe business, I informed you about luxury Italian shoes. I never thought I would buy a sneaker subscription, but every 3 months, I'm going to get new sneakers for a fixed amount. I get them for half the price of what, or 40%, I think, off of what they normally do in retail. But he's converting half of the people that go into the shop on a sneaker subscription. He has like an entry-level subscription. But why? If anybody doubts about the frequency in travel, think about the frequency in buying sneakers. And he got me on a sneaker subscription. I thought with the most fascinating example of why this would work in the hospitality industry.
Right. Depends how active you are. But yes, right. And citizenM is in a unique position. Absolutely. You mentioned loyalty before. So subscriptions, should they replace loyalty programs?
Well, I think the loyalty goes for me from a guest to you. And not vice versa. You cannot. There's a hard side, let's say, transactional side on and let's call that subscription. But for me, in the end, it's a soft side. We want people that want to stay at citizenM, not because they get points so they can, at the end of the year, take their family to a more upscale version of the hotel that you've been staying in. But we want people to commit to us because of the experience. So we always be walking two ways. Yes, we focus on the relationship. The subscription is just a way for us to acquire customers with a very high customer lifetime value and have them commit to us so we can commit to them in terms of the value we deliver back. But also on the soft side, you need to make sure that they experience extreme convenience through all the digital efforts we've done in the app and making sure everything is simple but also human and their experience gets better. And so, for us, it replaces loyalty programs, but not without the soft side. And that's part that we don't think that if somebody, doesn't like to stay at citizenM, they will come to us because of the subscription. No, that's not the program. The program is you have to like it. It has to be something for you. If you don't like it, you're not going to buy the subscription. You're not going to be loyal. And that's, I think, the interchangeability of loyalty programs, what I see at least happening between the normal free loyalty programs. They're great customer programs. They're great customer information programs. But is somebody in a big chain loyalty program really loyal to the chain? Or is it interchangeable with somebody else? And the same with OTAs. I think what Tripadvisor done is genius. Actually, a nice
segue there for Kanika.
If you cannot get a 10% discount and a VIP upgrade, at the moment, you're doing something wrong because you get it for free with, the other OTAs. And what Tripadvisor is really doing, they're focusing with intense efforts on trying to get a small to medium group of people to really commit with a subscription. And I think that's the way to do it. You lock people in.
But Kanika,
I think Lennert's doing my job for me. He's pitching Tripadvisor to everyone. Thank you, Lennert.
But Kanika, at the same time, brands want to build, obviously the chains and the hotels want to build their brands. And then here, we're talking about something that is very different from a loyalty program, right? It's a subscription model under the Tripadvisor label. So, how do you kind of see the hospitality industry balancing both?
Yeah, look, we've always worked very closely with our partners to help them build their own brand identity, whether it's on our Tripadvisor platform or elsewhere, right? When you think about our reviews and ratings program on Tripadvisor, that's exactly what it does. It allows hotels to compete on quality and service rather than just price. Now, Trip Plus and the question of, hey, does it get in the way of the loyalty programs that hotels are building is often a question that comes up. But from our perspective, I think we are expanding that program. We're giving them actually an opportunity to get access to a high spend, high intent travel audience. Every time someone books a Plus hotel, both Tripadvisor and the hotel actually have equal stake in making sure that that traveler has the most memorable experience when they're traveling. So if you're a hotel brand, what Plus is helping you do it, giving you, as I said, access to that, very wide selection of people who are ready to book, ready to travel. We generate the booking on our platform. We might do the initial customer support service, but at the end of the day, the hotel takes it from there, right? We share the customer information with the hotel, and they have the opportunity to really own that relationship and drive deeper engagement between that guest and your brand, right? That's the goal. That's what Tripadvisor is doing for our hotel partners.
So the industry has nowhere to go but up. Lennert, you brought this up. Once things start improving, we really have to think about what are we doing here, with these low prices. At one point it was €50 a night, correct? So what's in it for hotels? And I guess quickly again, because the time is running out, but what's in it for hotels when demand picks up? So I'm going to start with you, Kanika, and then end with you, Lennert.
So again, right, when I think about what Trip Plus is doing, as I mentioned, there's 3 benefits in our mind as far as a hotel partner is concerned. We actually view Plus as an innovative alternative to the OTA, the traditional OTA distribution model. Instead of giving away 20-30% in commissions, which has been the model so far in the industry, the hotel partner can take some of that amount and actually pass it on, that commission that they're paying today, and pass it on as discounts and perks and savings to their consumers, which essentially for them, what that means is higher room demand. And then because of the perks that they're delivering, they elevate that guest experience when that person is on the property, and they build that loyal relationship and that amazing relationship with the guest. We, as part of Trip Plus, hotel partners also get access to specialty badging on our site, which means increased visibility. They rank higher in our sort, and they get access to this high intent, high spend traveler base, which is amazing for them. And last but not the least, I touched on this a little bit earlier today, right? It helps you build those strong customer relationships. We share the customer information with you. It's in their CRM, and it's up to the partners how they leverage that information to actually market directly to these members, either before the stay or after their stay. So lots of benefits in it for our partners, and certainly what we've noticed is a fair amount of excitement in the industry to have this alternative available to them as an option to piggyback off of the increased demand.
Okay, I think Lennert, just quick, because I think our session's over, but post-pandemic?
Yeah, I think that the pandemic has shown us one thing, that the multiples for hotel EBITDAs are low for a reason, because there's no reliability in looking at short-term optimization of your occupancies and ADRs. And that's what we're in for. We're in for a long run. And that means that you need to look at customer lifetime value rather than optimizing New Year's Eve and when the doctors are in town. And that's commitment works two ways. And that is something that we want to propel in the next years.
So expect to see a lot more in the subscription world. Kanika, Lennert, thank you so much.
Thank you.